And we can go live on Instagram too. We are live. Welcome to Set the Pace. We are here almost every Monday, most Mondays, I want to say. And we have different topics connected to mainly health, wellness, and also mindset. But we bring different professionals, different people to come and speak on different topics. And today, our topic is on purpose, I chose summer bodies all year long because I feel like it can be either something that's interesting or curious, right? Because we talk about summer bodies are built in winter, or some say that summer bodies are built in spring. But it can be also a trigger, and I think it became a trigger for me. And so first, my positioning, it's so cool because DJ is a trainer, and I think for me as a mom at this stage in my life, I've been in the space of summer body, right? We're talking about the physical body and all that. But now as a mother and completely a little bit more aware of what's important. I think the only summer body you really need is the body you got. So, and I wanted to make that clear also to have that balance of does it mean that you just let go and don't do anything about it, right? Obviously not, because now it's not so much about the summer body for me, it's about me being healthy for me to be here for my children, right? Different priorities, but it is connected. So once you start working on that, the focus of I want to get healthier, I want to have the energy that I need to be able to do the things with my family or the things that I want to do for myself too. Yeah, it's connected to the body and it's connected to movement. And that's why I always connect it to one of my favorite topics, which is metabolism. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we go into what are the tools for the idea of you having sustainability in all areas when it comes to health and wellness. Because if you do something that is not sustainable, I know for myself, if it's not sustainable, I'm not going to do it. If it's not enjoyable, I'm probably not going to do it. And if it's not efficient, forget it. If I don't see results, I'm not doing it at all, right? So, and that is the idea of all the programs that we put together is it's simple, it's enjoyable, and it's effective. I feel like that is the secret for me, the secret sauce for especially moms coming from a parent, Yeah, I think that's the secret sauce for us to be able to keep it sustainable and keep going. Yeah. So how do you feel about that, Christina? You're a parent too.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And you're right. Like once you do become a parent, your mindset does shift in that way, where you just want to be healthy for your kids because it takes a lot of energy and it can be stressful and so you just want to make sure you have that regulation, the ability to yeah, regulate your mind and make sure that everything's healthy in that sense. But also that you're fit and you can run after the toddlers and, you know, as even as they grow up. I just went to a really cool event yesterday for girls fitness, actually. It's called Play Like a Girl. And so they're encouraging girls to get involved in sports and activities. So it's really fun to see that we're making sure that we teach healthy movement and healthy eating and things like that, even starting at a young age now. That's really important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we have girls, and we'll go into that topic that has to do with how I started this, but also there's the balance, right, of that, and that's where I think DJ will be very insightful. Is there is the idea of the summer body. So DJ, you as a trainer, what does that mean when we say summer body? What do you understand?
Well, it can mean a few different things, right? On one end, it can mean, hey, summer's coming up, and I'm gonna inspire myself and motivate myself to get myself in shape because I want to look at the best shape I can in my life because I'm ready to get out there, maybe meet new people, right? The cold weather's over, so now I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm gonna go on vacations. Then there's the opposite side of like, you know what? I've also just been lazy all year. And now I'm using the summer as a reason to get myself in shape, right? And I think that as a trainer, obviously, we want people to be in shape all year long, right? I would rather people have a dedication to fitness. But, oftentimes it's like going to the dentist. People will go the entire year without flossing, find out they have a dentist appointment, and all of a sudden floss vigorously for a week. And then they get the dentist. Dentist is like, nope, you still got cavities, right? It didn't change anything at all. So I think people are naturally motivated by certain things because it's difficult for them to maintain focus all year long. So on one end, even though I can be critical and say, yes, you should be doing tenets all year long to make sure that by summer, you're already looking good because you dedicated yourself to being healthy all year long. It doesn't matter the season. However, human behavior would suggest otherwise. Most people are going to be a little bit lazy until they have a reason to get up. So I'm half and half about it.
Yes. So then it comes down to it being sustainable, which sustainable for me equals lifestyle, right? So if it's sustainable, I can do it, I can keep it, and it might be sometimes things that you don't do every single day, but there are things that you have implemented that they are beneficial, and yes, I can do it. But that is the thing. I think the whole, if you can use, that's why we love the 30-day mini challenges that I call it, because then it gives you a start point and it gives you an end point, right? Because you don't want to also feel like you're always on a challenge unless it becomes your lifestyle. But then again, there is a fine balance there, because I've been in, and I only speak from a place where I know where I've been in a place where I overdid it, and that is also very detrimental to your health. And then that made me understand why I couldn't keep lean mass, why I didn't gain muscle mass, and I didn't lose fat, because there was a deficit, but there was also too much of a deficit, right, DJ? That's kind of like how my trainer explained it to me at that time. And she said, you need to give the body fuel, but you also need to give the body rest. And if you overdo it, which is a very normal thing, and I see it all the time. I know when I'm overdoing it, and then I know how to stop myself today, but I didn't know how to stop myself a few years ago, right? So, and I see that same thing with when it comes to the summer body. It has to do with that too, because we always put, maybe for New Year's, right? I'm gonna start after New Year's, or I'm gonna start for Valentine's Day, or I'm gonna do it now after Easter because I'm gonna eat all the chocolate, and then Easter I'll get to it. There's always gonna be something in life that makes you go off your path, right? Especially as a parent. There's always a snack there that the kid is eating, and they leave stuff on their plate, and it's normal. We end up just like eating it, not wasting it. So there's always going to be something. There's always going to be a party. There's always going to be. So if there is life happening, keeping the lifestyle keeps you in the flow of like, you can go off the path a little bit and then you come right back, right? I don't feel like it's always ever linear. Okay, for a DJ, maybe it might be linear for you, a little easier because you don't have any kids. When you throw some little beans in there, you're like, oh man, I'm trying to survive here, right? And I also think it's because different phases of our lives that we're in. But even the connection of the lifestyle with sustainability is, I think, the main focus, right? So now also when it comes to the summer body, I feel like it becomes a joke, at least within my mom group, right? Because it's like, summer body, are you kidding me? I had 3 kids. And not necessarily means that you won't have, the body shape. But again, I think the priority is to have the health instead of just the body. But you can have both, right? Would you agree with me, DJ?
I think 100% you can. I think what matters is having the right strategy. And that's something that I talk to my guys all the time, even the people that train. Just, there are 3 legs to the stool of maintaining your fitness. One's going to be obviously your training program. Number 2 is obviously going to be your nutrition. And number 3 is always accountability. That's the big one. And I would think that anyone can stick with a plan and maintain a healthy life if they have a reason outside of themselves to be healthy, right? So for my male clients, oftentimes I'll challenge them if they have kids, right? And it's always difficult to find time with kids. But what I've also learned is because kids can be a hindrance on time, they can also be a way stronger motivator to be fit. I can't tell you how many men I've spoken to who are like, you know what? You're right. After talking with you, I want to be fit because I want my daughter to have a superhero for her dad. I want to be fit because now that I watch my kids grow up, I want to see them do well and they're running and jumping on swings and I can't follow them. So oftentimes kids can actually be a greater motivator, right? So I think what matters is do they also have someone there on the journey to help them out? Do they have a friend who's encouraging them to work out? On those days at 4 a.m. when they don't want to wake up and go for the run, do they have a friend they're going to meet? Do they have a trainer online? Hey, you know what? Hit that goal today. I know you can do it. This would be great. I'm here to watch your progress. So I think the accountability part is really big. And I think people are missing that. And I think we can be a family member, it can be a coach, but someone outside of yourself to help spur you along. I think that's the best way to know that not only are you moving in the right direction, but not to do it alone. And I think that's the best way to be healthy moving forward. That way you're not trying to rush for just the occasion, right? I tell my clients, you never want to make you don't want to get fit for the occasion. You want to always make an occasion to be fit, right? And so you make it a daily diligence. But having someone there alongside you is way easier for sure.
I love it. Yeah, and also I was talking to some of my mom friends, and we're like, you want to feel good, and a lot of the times feeling good is you looking in the mirror and you're like, I feel beautiful. I look at it and I'm like, yeah. And I went on to talk to Dr. Carla, and I was like, from the standpoint of psychology, how does that work? So if I look in the mirror and I want to look more beautiful and I want to feel good about myself, so there is a psychological connection with the concept of beauty and confidence. So generally, the people that know that they are attractive, or they look at themselves and they're like, I feel good, they tend to have more confidence. Not I'm not going to generalize it, but for the most part, that's what we talked about. And she said there's studies around it, and also attractiveness, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but can be powerful. So it's not how other people see you, but it's how you really see yourself that makes a difference. So then it comes again the connection of why do I encourage. I really love F45, and I get nothing for saying it or talking about them. I love promoting F45 because it truly, for me, it was a game changer, and it's a game changer as a community too, right? So when it comes to change, I feel that the first thing for anybody to maybe start this change is just get moving and get sweating. First thing, just get moving, get sweating, get this body to do stuff, right? Because that's what your body's made for. So from that moment on, I feel like it's number one is the breathing and the connection with your mind, body, right? So then you go into other tools, and then we come with the 30-day challenges and implement some other tools that kind of go like level by level. But going back to the feeling attractive, also people that are considered more attractive, they are perceived as more confident, but also there is studies done about people that are hired to get for jobs, and they seem more trustworthy,
Yep.
right? And they are thought to be happier in life. They're thought to be healthier. So there is a big connection. Then it's not how others see you. It's really how you see yourself. So how you wake up, you're like, I feel good, right? So that's, I think, why I love doing this, because it's one of the ways to really empower, especially when you become a parent. You kind of focus 100% on your children, and you take the back burner status, right? And my way of doing this is, let's give it a little balance. Put yourself in the front burner too, because there are 3 burners in the front. So we can all go in the front burner. So, but that is the connection. And I think about stoicism that you love to talk about. I think that has a lot to do with that too, right?
So I think with stoicism is more, especially for me, the way I interpret it, because I think I disagree with a lot of people nowadays who are very big into stoicism. I think what people fail to understand is the viewpoints that a lot of those stoic thinkers would think, for one, is widely diverse. Number two had a lot to do with their particular lot in life. Like if you listen to Epictetus, right? He's one of the best ones out there. Well, he was a slave his entire life. So it's natural that his own advice would be like, don't have a preference for anything. Don't care about anything in life. Don't find any joy because it'll all be taken away from you, right? It's understandable. Then you have someone like Marcus Aurelius, who was a great ruler. So his understanding of stoicism is more like, how are you good to the people around you as opposed to what I want, right? So I think when you are adopting those concepts with yourself, learning how to go through life to do things because they are inherently good to do and they send a good message is more important than how you feel in the moment. That's where stoicism can really shine, right? Because stoicism is very much devoid of the feeling and more in alignment with duty and keeping your word and being an example to people around you. Well, for your kids, that's a big deal, right? You might think to yourself, hey, I'm a good parent because I'm eating these sweets with my children. But at the same time, you're like, am I promoting good health for my children? To do that, more than what mommy and daddy say, they've got to see mommy and daddy do the workouts, right? They got to see them actually living a fit life. And I think, Pam, that's a perfect example. You go into F45, you're in a community, people hold you accountable, but your kids see it. So even if they are eating a treat or even an ice cream cone, they know that mommy's fit. They know that daddy works out. They know that fitness is important, and they will just copy what you do. I think that's extremely important. And that's also teaching your kids, hey, whether mommy or daddy feels like it, we're still going to work out. That part of stoicism you can integrate and can be extremely powerful for your results.
Love it. Yeah. Then again, the kids are such inspiration for us. So we talk about the looks, and we have girls, right, Christina? And it's a thing. So I can tell she's only 9, and there is already like putting little makeup on and doing the girly things. Like you can't get away. I did that. Christina did. We all do it. So then one thing that I tell her is, and also the boys, but you're beautiful on the outside, but more important than that, you're what? And she goes, kind. So and that comes, the physical appearance, and then there's personality, right? So there's traits that sometimes are way more attractive than what you look like. And so again, there is a fine balance of, especially the way that things are going. It's so different now when our parents raised us. Even the concept of what's beautiful, right? I look at things and I'm like, Addie, this is gorgeous, and she goes, oh, that's horrible. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, this is completely different from when I grew up. But then I focus, of course, as a parent, focus on talking about her traits and the things that she is inside, in not just outside. But it's a good balance. And I think after as you grow older, that the whole, I feel like I need to feel good when I look in the mirror for me to feel like I can go out and do my mission, my work, and what I'm set out to do. But then not necessarily for everyone, right? But at least for the moms that I talk to, it's for them. It's like, yeah, it's important to feel good when and I get ready and I look in the mirror and I do my things. So then it comes the small tools that we bring for us to be able to get this done. So it's never black and white, right? There's always a gray area in everything. So for me, one of the points that I feel that I felt, and I was able to kind of get a good grip on it, is metabolism. So that's why I always come back to that space, because after the kids, and then after, I would say like my 30s, is when I changed. Like I felt changes in the body that I could tell, and I wanted answers, and I wanted tools, and I wanted to be able to understand how I could keep being fit and healthy, but also keep the lifestyle that is sustainable. So then I could keep doing it for years to come. So thinking long term. I think you start thinking long term now. I didn't really think long term when I was super overdoing it when I was 19, right? And doing things that I'm like, how did I survive? Like crazy. So as we go through metabolism again. So again, metabolism, coming back to this topic, and it has to do with the summer body. And metabolism is involved in everything in the body, but we connect metabolism directly to weight and fitness because it is a huge part of it. But metabolism is how basically is your cells at work. So the speed at which the cells work is what metabolism basically is. So the cells, they get the signals, and then they each do what they need to do, right? And that's all metabolism. So when it comes to, oh, I feel like my metabolism slowed down, that's it. It's not just connected to weight, but it's also connected to all of the processes in the body, including gut digestion. So if that's why microbiome is a big topic right now. And if you're not digesting well, it means that everything else that you're eating, your nutrition, again, coming back to point number one there, nutrition is going downhill. You're not absorbing everything you need, so your body's not doing what it's supposed to do. Then came for me MetaPower, the system MetaPower that I'm so in love with, because it did what I needed to do, even though I didn't know exactly what was going on. I couldn't pinpoint it. Now I can, because I started doing a little bit more of the number stuff. But those tools are easy to use. And I know from my experience and my clients that if they start on it, they will get good results in 30 days. So it's easy for me to do that now. So I can just, because it kind of covers everything from digestion, nutrition, to blood sugar equilibrium, right? It covers all the points that I need to cover when it comes to your body, your summer body. Okay. So, and I'm using this material for the next 30 days. So if you want to be part of the challenge is nothing less, nothing more than just there's a group, and the group is not super active. I post on the group. I post the things on the group, and then sometimes it gets a little more active when I do the small challenges within the group. And you're there, you can look at the information. Do you have to interact? You don't. You can just look at it, grab the information, and run with it, or don't, but it's there for you. And it's free. I don't charge for it. I do it because I love people being able to have access to this information, and these are simple things. Also, you're going to have a meal plan for 30 days that you can follow. There's a grocery list that you can prepare for the week that you're going to start, and you follow it for 30 days. So 30 days, what sticks, great. What doesn't, it doesn't. But you can get a gist of what it would look like if you had a little bit more planning behind the things that you're set out to do. And if you had tools that help your body absorb a little bit more, that help your body do the functions that it's supposed to be doing, right? Even though maybe you don't have the means to go and do lab testing or get a GI map, or, maybe that's the thing. Or I get the tools, or I get this stuff done, right? So it's affordable. You get the tools and you get going, and you get results for 30 days, and you feel like, okay, I got this, and it's sustainable. Okay. And I'll share the materials with you in a little bit. So 30 days, we start May 15th, which is in about a week, right? It's May 6th now. So in 10 days, and we end June 15th on purpose, because kids will be off school. We start summer, right? And then for me, summer is about getting the kids out. They're not going to have school. We're going to be out in the sun and doing fun things. So, and I want to have that energy for that. Christina, for you, what is the 30-day challenge? How does it work for you? Did you like the idea of it when you did it? What is it?
Definitely. Yeah, this MetaPower system that we are using for this 30-day challenge is really good. I enjoy it a lot. The cool thing is, if you've not bought it before, you get the whole pack with all of the products, so you get to decide which ones you choose. But if you've already been familiar with it, you can just pick, the soft gels, the collagen, and then, maybe an oil, or maybe the gum. So you just figure it out for yourself. And that's what I like about it, is it's, I don't know if you guys ever used to do the books where you choose your own adventure. So it's, okay, well, if you want to do this, then go to this page. All right. So it's kind of similar in that sense, where you choose how you want to get it into your body, and you do it in a way that is sustainable for you. Because like we keep saying, it's a lifestyle, right? You don't want to start doing something just for 30 days and then feel so exhausted and off put by it that we're not going to continue. We're trying to find something that fits. So that's what I liked about the MetaPower, and also how it made me feel. I was sleeping better, or I am. I'm sleeping better. Other people noticed that I had lost weight quicker than I did because, when you're always looking at yourself, you don't notice it. But yeah, it definitely went down pant sizes. Yeah, it's just a lot of really cool things that happen over the month, and if you continue, you'll notice even more. I've
And
seen amazing.
did you restrict anything? Did you stop?
No,
Like, did you
no.
change? Okay.
Well, I think it's a good idea to stop alcohol. I think that's the best results that you could ever get for any type of diet
No,
lifestyle
the
change.
non-wine club.
Um,
Are you kidding me?
but
I
um,
agree,
but
Christina. I
yeah,
like
just
that, Christina. I agree.
yeah. I mean, because otherwise you're not gonna see the results like you
So
should, because that's a huge it has a huge effect on the body and body systems and metabolism and things like that. So but yeah,
It's
I
huge.
like the new yeah, I like the new formula. It used to be called something different, and so they kind of tweaked a couple things, and I like how they tweaked it, and I like the results that are being seen.
That's awesome. Um, just as you're talking, any of the, and I know in the training world, DJ knows this because caffeine is a thing, right?
Yeah.
But so are the downers and the caffeine. They're kind of the same thing when it comes to the body, because the body is always trying to find balance, which is homeostasis. And what happens is when you take alcohol, it's down regulating, right? So your body's like at work throwing up regulators because it doesn't want you to be down, otherwise you die. And same thing with caffeine, right? So caffeine like up regulator, and then your body's like, I'm gonna throw some down regulators so you can come back and we can be in homeostasis again. So your body's always at work. So the idea of not having any stimulants is that the body is always self-regulating, right? Self-regulating. However, there are studies connected to caffeine to make the trainers happy. And Dr. Carla does not like caffeine. So she's going to be here later today at 2, and she talks about that. There's different schools of thoughts, but it makes sense when it comes to like homeostasis in the body, because that's what your body wants. It wants to be in balance. So if you throw caffeine in there, it's going to try to balance, and the caffeine does what? It bumps you up, right? But when it comes to metabolism, caffeine can be beneficial, right? But my question connected to that is, DJ, when you're training people, right? They come to you,
mhm.
and do you ever recommend supplements or different things that they add to the program so they have better results, or you just tell them, hey, eat better and let's exercise and drink a lot of water?
I'll go off and say I always recommend supplements because the bottom line is there's a lot of nutrients that people need to get. The odds of them, being able to eat exactly what they need to eat every single day on time, on schedule, is already very low, right? They haven't been able to show proof of that up to that point of starting to work with me. On top of that, supplements are just a great way to get a lot of nutrients into your bodies without adding calories, right? Now, mind you, I don't consider protein powder a supplement. That's actually a food, right? But everything else, any kind of micronutrient, right, or vitamins and minerals, those things are calorie neutral. So it's a great way for people to say, you know what, if I want to feel more satiated throughout the day, oftentimes I'm just lacking in micronutrients. And so supplements are a great way of saying if you can get the right amounts of these, oftentimes you realize you're not craving that extra cinnamon roll at nighttime, right? Because a lot of times your body's just looking for more and it keeps asking you. And sometimes we'll fill the void with nonsense. But if you have a lot of micronutrients, if you are actually supplementing your body with the stuff it needs to feel satisfied, to be operating at maximum capacity, you realize a lot of the nonsense it doesn't actually want. It's just been asking for it all along, right? Not the extra calories attached to it. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of supplements. I every time my clients come on, I take new guys, I have an entire welcome packet that has an entire long list of supplements they should be taking, including a lot of stuff from doTERRA. the NMN stuff, your fish oils, all that kind of stuff in there. Because if you're trying to optimize your fitness and you don't want the extra calories, because most of my guys are trying to lose weight, supplements are mandatory.
Like the body doesn't really produce everything that we need, especially considering it's a total different topic, the soil that things are coming from now today, right? So which has huge connection to the whole nutrition topic, but that's another topic. We're going to talk about that with Dr. Carla.
That's very true, though.
Yeah, no, it is. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all connected, right? And then there is the connection too of everything that we're exposed to as far as on the outside. So there's this book, and I recommend it. I recommend it. I'm reading it, and I found it incredible. So it's called The Generation. It's about anxiety. The anxiety that it's generation anxiety, something like that. And let me look at the name and I'll tell you exactly the name. But it is about the studies that they have done, you know, all the things that we have been talking about, but there's no way to prove it, which is, should I give my kid a phone? Should I let them use social media? Should I, all the things that we have thought about, right? And yes, everything that we thought that is probably not good. They said, hey, if you're going to give your child access to a phone and social media, it should be when they're like 16. And they're having access to it way earlier, right? So the name of the book is The Anxious Generation, and that's by Jonathan Haidt.
Oh, Jonathan Haidt. Oh, I didn't know he had a new book. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Haidt.
Yes, yeah. How the great rewiring of childhood is causing an epidemic of mental health illness.
Just a quick little side note. If you guys haven't read his original book, The Coddling the American Mind, that he came out with maybe 10 years ago, read that one as well. I didn't know he had a new one. That's pretty cool. I have to pick that up. Yeah.
It's a great, but you can get it on Audible too. So I have the physical book, but you can get it on to listen to. I'm going to put the name of the book here. The Anxious Generation. Yeah, so it's all connected. Because if you think about it, I'm trying to make these connections just because it makes sense. If you think about it, we only regenerate when you sleep. So when you close your eyes, that's why I'm a big advocate for you to just going to do like a 15-minute, it's called power nap, but it's not a power nap. You should just do like yoga nidra, grab something on YouTube, 15-minute meditation for you to stay like middle of the day. Because we don't tend to close our eyes after we wake up. It's not a normal practice. You know, once you're up until you go to sleep. So that's why when I teach yoga and I have the students in yoga class at the end, we say, you close your eyes. You know, you never close your eyes from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. And when we're talking now health, physical health, our body's still in the cave, right? If you talk about how the body reacts to everything, we're still in trying to make sure that we are surviving, right? The parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system. So now when we talk about nervous system regulation, has a lot to do with what we're talking about, which is metabolism and the summer body. If you don't sleep well, the summer body, that's just a way for us to think about like a healthy body, a fit body, a strong, energetic body, right? That's not going to happen because the only time your body really regenerates is when you're in parasympathetic, and you can't be in parasympathetic and sympathetic at the same time. So it's always fighting. So if you're up, we're talking, your body's not regenerating. Unless you're like maybe putting your feet in an Epsom salt bath or being in a bath and closing your eyes, then yes, it's nervous system regulation, right? The yoga nidra is basically that. So if you do like a 15-minute yoga nidra online, just grab it online, lay down for 15 minutes, close your eyes, go into that space. And it's interesting because in 15 minutes, you're going to wake up. It will follow the whatever it's being guided, okay? Sound healing, super amazing way to reset your nervous system, but it's a really deep reset. We have a session coming up here at the end of this month here at Savon, and you're welcome to come. So all these things are connected. So then if you think about, again, the way that we interact with the outside world and the anxious generation is because they're being thrown the whole time. The body's like, survival, survival. What do we do with this? What do we do with this? Right? Cortisol, cortisol, cortisol. Boom. Adrenaline sometimes if there's no cortisol. So that's why we have this mental health crisis, and it's a cascade, right? And then we come back here and we're talking about summer bodies, which has a lot to do with, yes, mental health, the way we see ourselves, the way that we understand how we regenerate. So take that time, and I'm guilty of it because I'm always on, but when I'm off, I'm off. Every day, the siesta, every day I do my 15-minute yoga nidra or do a meditation, and then I go into my second half of my day. I sleep really well. I sleep at least 7.5 hours a night, at least. Okay, so all those things, take that into account, because then this whole topic here really doesn't make sense if you can reset your nervous system all the time, right? So sleep is a big thing, all connected. Yeah.
And for people, it's important to remind, for those of you who haven't tuned in before and heard earlier podcasts of us talking about this, when you are in that state, your body won't respond well to working out, right? DJ let us know this earlier. So the best thing to do for your health, because you really still should be active, is going on walks, because that is a very simple way to introduce movement into your system. And there's even studies that came out recently saying a 40-minute walk is incredible for your mental health and for your overall health. So for those of us,
Nailed it.
who are having hormonal issues and whatnot, are like mental, like, mode, then start off by taking walks, and then your body will let you know when it's ready.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because I tell people all the time, because they've done a lot of studies, and given a long enough time span, people who walk every single day are more likely to stay fit and keep their carbs under control than people who even do high intensity fitness. And the usual reason is, if you tell yourself the only way to do cardio is if you lace up your shoes, get your running shoes on and your running clothes on, make it to a gym or have some sort of scenario, what you're doing is you're putting a lot more barriers or speed bumps in between you and getting the task done. But everyone can walk. You can walk in slippers, you can walk barefoot, right? So what they found is, this guy named Stan Efferding, he has something called the vertical diet. He's had a lot of success with people who are overweight, losing tremendous amounts of weight. And what he says is, get 30 minutes of cardio every single day. Do that by taking a 10-minute walk after your 3 meals. So eat your food and then just go for a walk. I don't care how far you go, but just walk. And just doing that, it helps to limit the amount of blood glucose going through your system. Right? It has a very positive effect on that as well. And it gets people into thinking that, hey, my life, I should be walking and moving, which is pretty much what happens when you go to Europe. People say, yeah, how come when I'm in Europe, I don't gain as much weight, only in America? That's because the lifestyle of walking and moving after everything you eat, it's so ubiquitous. It's so natural, part of the culture. You fall in line and you get to America, you're like, oh, this food is making me gain weight. Well, you're also not walking after every meal. Now you're sitting down watching television, you're doing something else. So yes, walking over the course of time has been tremendously effective. Yeah, great point.
Yeah, because I feel like walking is also very healing, right? Like I feel like if you're walking, let's go for a stroll. That's usually that feel of,
They've actually done studies that say that when people walk, that bipedal movement actually makes it easier to think and have ideas. They've done studies like that. Like if you're walking, you can come up with your best thoughts while walking, because human beings, we have to move in a certain way, and that rhythm of walking allows your mind to get into almost like an active meditation state. Yeah, so that's the thing. So walking is great for so many reasons.
Love it. Yeah, so get moving. Again, get moving. I'll give you a visual here of the material that we'll be using, and this will be available for you to use. And you can do one lesson a day. So we'll be covering this starting next week. We'll cover the first week, because this is for yourself. There's nobody following you to make sure that you do this. This is for you to know. This is for you to get to know how your body is, how you're feeling, right? And you have tools here. What do we do about nutrition? So we create a meal plan. I'm giving you the meal plan. Smart supplementation. Why do I need to supplement? One of the things that blew my mind one time that I learned was, I'm really into this whole sympathetic, parasympathetic thing these days, because if we can tell more people about it, it makes more sense, and people are like, oh gosh, I need to sleep, right? You really need to sleep. You need to regulate your nervous system. Another thing is when we are up, we're all pumping cortisol right now. It comes from your adrenals, right? So when you're pumping cortisol, it comes from your adrenals. If you don't have, your adrenals are not working properly, then that's a problem. That's why you feel fatigued, and the whole metabolic chaos thing, that's what happens from there, right? But also when it comes to hormones, it's not the opposite of cortisol, but for us to regenerate, there is the DHEA. You love this talk, yeah?
Mhm.
I love this talk. DHEA is basically is a hormone, and that's what you need to be able to recover. Okay, and DHA is made of. That's why I'm talking about supplementation. Is made out of cholesterol. So, if for any reason there is a suppression of cholesterol in your body, then probably you feel fatigued and you have other symptoms of that. And vitamin B. So that's why when you see all the supplements that are for adrenal support, they all have vitamin B because of that, because cholesterol and vitamin B make DHEA, and that's what you need. So when you talk about supplementation, it's not a bad idea to take a look at supplementing, so your body has the tools to produce what it needs to produce for you to get the final result, right? So here, managing your food environment, talking about nutrition again, right? Negative lumping. And then this is week 2. And yes, you can do your own measurements. Nobody's going to look at it, but it's cool for you to see the changes, and you can see a change in a week. MetaPower Advantage is the first thing that I introduced DJ to. And I thought that wasn't going to be as impactful for him because he's so on it. He's fit, right? He's on it. And he felt it. So, and the reason being is because there is NAD+. It's NMN that is a precursor to NAD+ in there. And I feel like that was the magic ingredient in that collagen. The collagen is also incredible for digestion. And again, microbiome, gut is important. Vitamin C is in there, right? So you have resveratrol, so all the antioxidants. So it makes a difference, okay? Then here comes zone 2 exercise. So I'm going to have another trainer come on in one of our May Set the Pace to talk about, I love high intensity interval training. And the more research I do on the specific way of working out, the more I'm like, oh, that makes sense, right? I feel like it's a very concise way of working out. And also when it comes to metabolism, it's a great type of exercise, okay? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in end of May. And metabolism and aging, so then you can understand a little bit more about lifespan versus health span. It's not just your biological age, but how is your body doing, right? Again, metabolism, super connected to that. So understanding how to use the MetaPower system, and the whole idea of it is to keep your blood sugars leveled. That's the whole idea of it. If you spike too much, you age faster. If you have dips, you age faster. And the reason why is because it's taking so much more energy from your body, from your adrenals, all that, to produce the energy that's needed to keep the homeostasis, right? Then things start making sense. Then you're like, oh, got it, right? So for me, I was like, phew. So every time I go back and revisit some of the things that we get to study, talking about metabolism, I'm always like, wow, the body is incredible, right? The body's perfect. We mess it up. The environment messes it up. But if you give it what it needs, it does its job, right? So any other comments connected to our exciting challenge that's coming up on the 15th?
No, I think we covered a lot of different things. I think there was one thread I wanted to pull on. I'll make this very, very quick. When you mentioned the thing about distractiveness and, looking in the mirror and, do you love who you see? Do you love the person that you are? And if you do, then why are you always trying so hard to change it the next day? Maybe make yourself thinner or more muscular, what's going to be. And I can't remember who said this because I don't want to take credit for it. But one of the most beautiful quotes I ever heard was, you're perfectly fine exactly the way you are. But by tomorrow, it won't be good enough. Right? And so what it does is it teaches you to love yourself now, but also know that, hey, I should also still be aspiring to something better because, for one, that's just what we do as humans. Right? There's no such thing as a meal that we eat that satisfies us forever. Right? We got to eat again. So same thing. Time is very unforgiving. If we do nothing, our cells will break down and they'll become, they're very deleterious. Like chaos is easy to seep into our bodies. So yes, we love ourselves who we are now, but we're also not just getting fit for ourselves, but we're also putting the example for our kids, people around us who might be going through issues. Because regardless of whether or not people believe in the body positivity thing, my main issue with that is if you look at all the issues that might come up later on in life, it happens to be some sort of breakdown of your endocrine or metabolic system, right? So even Alzheimer's, for the past maybe 10 years now, has been considered diabetes type 3. This is an actual thing. So if you're not taking care of your health, then maybe later on in life, you forget who your children are. You forget that you have grandchildren. That's terrible, right? And you might think to yourself, hey, I'm overweight, I can do whatever I want with my body, but you're not thinking about how that impacts the people around you, right? So on one end, yes, you can love who you are, but then know that by tomorrow it's not good enough. So do something today to put forth not just a good example for yourself, but people who care for you.
I
That's
love
all.
it.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it. Drop the mic. Boom. Thank you so much for your presence. We'll be here again next Monday. And if you want to be part of that group, it's a WhatsApp group. It's a free group. You can just get in there, ask any of us to add you to the group, and all of the materials and meal plans, all the good stuff will be in that group for you to be able to access. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, DJ.
Of course, always a pleasure. Thanks,
Aloha.
guys. Aloha.